Hey, this is episode 3 of HeadSpace Radio. I wasn't sure when I was going to drop this or record this, I should say, but we're going to get into it right now. The topic is, what is a man? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I thought about this topic, and I had good questions about this topic, and I read them out loud before I pushed record, and they look silly as hell. We'll get into it. We'll do this free-flowing thing because quite frankly, I'm not going to read these topics. They're just silly. I'm going to start rambling as I usually do, and we'll see where this goes by the end of all this. Okay, so all right. Do women want a traditional man? That's a good question, and I think it's a complex answer. Because what classifies as a traditional man? A traditional man tends to want a woman that can kind of get with the tradition of what this man is trying to, put on. And let's be 100% real, we're in the year 2025. How many women today are traditional? They're more liberated or have more freedom than the quote-unquote traditional woman of yesteryear. So if a woman is saying, I want a traditional man so I can be my feminine more than be a little bit masculine, I think that's a lie. I think that's a lie. And I think that a traditional man, that's tough. I don't know. I think that's going to be a lot tougher to be in today's day and age from a man's point of view, because if you're realistically saying that a traditional man is a man that works while the wife is at home, while the girlfriend's at home, and she's raising the kids, and he comes home and there's like a cooked meal and like dessert and shit, I don't know. I don't know. Then the whole six figures things come into play. You know what I mean? Because you can't have a woman at home, a wife at home, and you're making $50K and you got like 3 kids. You know what I mean? That's going to eat up everything you have. So now the guy has to make that type of money. High 6 figures, because girl want to go shopping and do all the other stuff, right? So that's tough, a traditional man. And to the response to the dudes, I don't think y'all willing to y'all say something, but doesn't mean you're actually willing to do it. You know what I mean? So it's tough. And I think in my defense, in your defense, ladies, I call it the Chris Brown effect. What I mean by that? Okay, let's say, for example, we live, you and me, for example, we're in the same town. Now, you're very attractive, and I am a regular Joe. I'm trying to talk to you. You're not giving me any attention. In fact, you pretty much a cunt, right? You're like, oh, no, stay away from me. You look up and down. You don't even talk to me. You turn away, right? Cool. Chris Brown comes to town. You screaming and shouting, you hollering and hooting, you Chris Brown. You out here doing all types of things to get this man's attention. I call it the Chris Brown effect because, there are levels to this. You know what I'm saying? And that's also an issue, an underlining more issue, because now, let's say, for example, a woman who has morals, or says, this is what I believe in, the wrong type of guy that's very attractive comes around and could theoretically knock you off that program, or you're willing to sacrifice or compromise who you are as a woman just to get with this man, and it's a shit show going forward. This man will literally run through you 100 times before you say, nah, I'm good. Yo, them dudes exist, but at the same time, y'all ladies exist like that, right? So I say, like, there are levels to this, you know. Me being a regular dude, I can't be some asshole running up on a girl and be like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. She gonna laugh at me from the moment I walk up to her. She like, nah, son, keep it moving. Yo, this is what it is, man. Oh, man. So, yeah, we talked about the traditional man. We talked about the Chris Brown effect. And, you know, shout out to Chris Brown. I don't think he's a bad guy, you know. He went through it already, and you know he doing his thing. I remember, well, we all know what happened with, you know, him and Rihanna, but I remember when Michael Jackson died. I graduated from high school when Michael Jackson died, and yo, it was like the worst day ever. After I got home, it was humid as hell. It was raining a bit. And my cousin calls me. I'm in the basement. This is when you could watch TV. There wasn't like YouTube. YouTube wasn't too like crazy at the time. I was watching TV on cable. And I get a phone call from my cousin. He's like, yo, he knows I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. He wanted to break the news to me. He wasn't being cool about it. He was being a dick about it. Michael Jackson's dead. And I'm like, what? And then I saw it on the news. I'm like, no way. This is crazy. And I was pissed, bro. Like, they had the whole "This Is It" concert getting ready to go, and I mean, let's be real, I wasn't gonna be able to afford them damn tickets anyways. But shit, like, Michael Jackson's just indented in people's heads, bro. Like, he's just who he is. You're like, why is he mentioning Michael Jackson? Hold on. So, the BET Awards, right? This is when people still kind of watched it. All right. They needed a Michael Jackson tribute. Now, Usher's a great dancer and an amazing performer, right? I don't know why he didn't do it. Maybe he did, but it wasn't memorable. Sorry, no disrespect to Usher. I think he's a legend. I love his classic music. Yo, they had Tiana Taylor. I think they had, oh my God, the girl that was beefing with Beyonce. Oh my God. Yo, shoot. Oh my God, what's her name? I'm gonna lose my mind. I know her. I just know her name, and I don't have it now. This is so crazy. Y'all know who? Carrie Hilson. There we go. Carrie Hilson, amazing artist. She had a tribute. Didn't sound so. I mean, it was. You know, it seemed a little crazy. You know, I'm not gonna lie. But yo, Chris Brown, he did his thing, man. It was crazy. It was like, for me, I'm like, yo, this is a cold take, a hot take, or whatever take. I'm gonna say that dude died, and Chris Brown's sins were like forgiven. They're like, we need you, because they didn't fucking call Omarion to do a freaking Michael Jackson tribute. Like, what the hell? Are you serious? Like, I like Omarion, but like, yo, bro, you've been doing the same dance moves for like 15 years. So, yo, Chris Brown comes on, and he's in fucking shambles. Gonna make a change. He's crying. I'm like, damn, guy's cooked. And I'm like, damn it, man. Chris Brown, bro, like, you a G. Like, I don't care what anyone says, man. You the guy. But yeah, yo, Chris Brown. From then, you know, he had the I Could Transform. Yeah, that song was kind of whatever. But later on, he's back. He's good. He's good. He's laughing. All right, so that's enough talk of celebrities for one podcast. Yeah. So we got the traditional dude questioning whether women would still want a traditional dude because y'all a little liberated. Some of y'all some whores, not gonna lie. Some of y'all some heifers. Some of y'all liberated. And I think, okay, here's the problem. Another thing I have to speak on this. Rhetoric is very important. Media is very important. What you consume also takes effect on your mind. So it goes both ways, right? It goes, young boys thinking they want to be Andrew Tate, and women, certain females, I should say, that, men are evil for everything that they do. And if the relationship doesn't work out, they're going to become lesbians. And I'm like, okay, this isn't type of information you should be saying out loud, nor is it something that is truthful. I think that, there is a thing called misandry, where you just hate men to the point where, man is the root of all my issues. And I think it's a little bit more complex than that, just like how men like to shit on women and say, if women didn't do this, then we'd be better off. Well, I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay, buddy. You know what I mean? I look at things as, I try to look at things as objective as possible. I'm a guy, so obviously I'm going to lean towards what men think. I'm honest enough to say that. But I hear some of these podcasts that y'all be listening to, and I'm like, holy shit, like, you can't believe that's the gospel. You know what I'm saying? You can't. This shit gonna get you in trouble. Alright, but okay. Let's move on. So like when people say that, like, you listen to certain podcasts, certain mediums, whether it's television, through reality TV, or through documentaries, through, media, or like news and whatnot, a lot of this is propaganda, and it goes both ways, of course. So you'll hear some woman on a platform say some crazy stuff and mold your mind on your expectation of what a man should be or what a man should do. And the same goes for men. Heard some outlandish stuff from like these trad wives saying that, if you're not doing this for your dude, then I'm just like, oh my God, this woman's insane. I'm like, that'd be amazing, but like, listen, if you wasn't in a relationship with a homosexual, like, your ass get tired out within the first few days. Like, let's be 100. Oh my God. The internet's funny. Okay, let me look at this list. Let me see if I can still work with this list here. Okay. How should a man act towards chaos? The whole world's chaotic right now. Not every man is the same. A man that can handle adversity is very rare to find, and I think that's something that you're not born with. It's something and you can't just out the box, boom, adversity, this is what we're gonna do. No, you gotta, you build through chaos in a sense. You have to, as a man, because if you haven't been through it, then you don't know how to get through it, So chaos, or you can seek advice from other people that have been through, You don't always got to get burnt by touching the stove. Secondhand information is always good too. So I'm putting that out there. What to do in a situation when dealing with a woman who's trying to get under your skin or puts hands on you. That is crazy. That is a good question. I wrote. See, look at that. Honestly, we're in 2025. Well, see, hold on, calm down. I didn't say. I'm not going in the direction y'all think I'm going. Relax. He's mentioned the day he said you can put hands on women. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. You should always walk away. Whenever you like, I'll say this. Whenever you learn boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo, they always say the number one thing you should do is walk away. And normally when you're doing these classes, it's always man versus man, woman versus woman. 9 times out of 10 when you're on the street and you have an issue, you're probably going to have an issue with the same sex. So that's what they say. If you're being cornered, you got to be careful because, let's say, for example, man on man, doesn't matter how it started. They usually report how it ends. So let's say, for example, a man approaches another man and he pushes you, and then, okay, now you lay him the hell out. You punch him in the face. He knocks out, hits his head on the pavement. He's dead. You're cooked. It's self-defense, but then they're going to go back and forth, and, depending on what you look like, who you are, your background, your money, all that stuff. I think that all matters in court, in my honest opinion. I might be ignorant by saying that, sure. But, it's gonna be one hell of a run, I'll tell you that much. And if you have alcohol in your body, oh my God, you're cooked. Just forget it. Just forget it. So, when I'm dealing with now, let's say we're dealing with women, and this woman is chaotic, let's say, for example, and she's all up in your face, you honestly, it's very unnatural to do this, but you just gotta kind of walk the fuck away. You kind of gotta move out of your way, keep your personal space, get out the way. Now if she got a knife and she's trying to throw that shit at you or come at you with that, you really gotta run. But at the same time, if there's nowhere where you can go, you're gonna have to try to disarm this woman and call the fucking police, because who they gonna believe? Right? Both your hands go beyond the knife. You might be 5'10", she might be 5'4". You might be a hulking dude, you may be a skinny dude. You may be a big black dude with muscles, you might be a big fat white dude, with a pot belly. It don't matter. Like, this is, like, the game ain't designed for you to win as a dude, so it's tough. Like, your discretion as advised, so just, try not to put hands on ladies, Next question. Let's see. I already asked that. I already answered that. What do you do in a situation? I did that. Top earning men. Yeah, top earning men. So yeah, Chris Brown. Like I said, that's where it came from. The top earning men. If you have money, no one wants to hear this. Women don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. If you have money and fame, and you get to pick. You get to pick. It's the truth. It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker with no money that looks just the same appealing to the motherfucker that has money. The motherfucker with money looks sexy to a lot of women, where the guy with no money looks cute. That's just what it is. And, that's why ladies, a lot of these dudes want to lock in, at a certain time to, get their money up and whatnot, because they say women mature earlier, but men tend to get their money later on in life versus where women, they mature, do whatever the hell, and so on and so forth. I don't know if it's true in today's day and age, but fuck, I'm still waiting for my peak right now, bro. I'm like, I don't know what these guys are talking about. Like, well, do the economy, I might have to wait till I'm 50. No, I'm joking. Oh my God, no. I'm not waiting that long, bro. It's coming today. It's me knocking on wood. All right. Yo, oh my goodness. Okay, traditional man. How should a man raise their children and their environment? How should a man raise his children? I literally just have a daughter. I have one daughter. She's new. She's fresh. She's 4 months old. She will be 5 months this month. It's so unreal. It's so surreal. I have this baby, and it feels like it's not my baby. Not in the sense that I need a DNA test. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the fact that it's just so unreal that me as the boy I once was, to the teenager, to now a man, has a child with my DNA, 50% of my DNA, and 50% of my girlfriend's DNA. And yo, it is the craziest thing in the world. It is the craziest thing in the world, because I'm gonna tell you something right now. Like, you don't believe it. Even if she's keeping you up at night, you don't believe it. And you look at her in your eyes and you're like, oh my God, like, there you are. You're there. You know what I mean? That's crazy. It's crazy. And then for me as a man, when my girlfriend was pregnant, it was funny. Certain things were funny. In a more of a apocalyptic end of the world type of thing, in a sense where I knew this is one of those decisions where you could not reverse. There was no going back. You know what I'm saying? I write in a journal every day when I can. Quarterly, monthly, yearly. That's how the journal usually works, right? And once I realized that there were certain habits I was going through, by the end of the year, let's say, for example, I'd have credit card debts and I'd be screwed, right? Then come July, let's say, all those debts would be taken care of. They're asking me for a new credit card. Like a dumbass, I think I've learned my lesson. I obviously have not. And things are going okay. And then not so well. The cycle continues, right? Same with jobs and so on and so forth, right? The cycle continues. Every once in a while you break that cycle. But this now, you have a child. This is a new riff in the timeline. And everything you did last year is irrelevant to what's happening this year. You know, so that's how important these implications are. A child is different. A child cries. It may need its nose cleaned. It might need a shit. It's probably pissed a lot. You know, it needs to feed, you know, and they grow. And it's insane. Like, within the 4 months of her being here, like, she's already doubled in size. And she's making noises. It's crazy. I love it. It's such an experience. And everyone that's had a kid before me says this is the easiest time, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And I kind of see what they're talking about, because when that kid opens her mouth, I know she will have so much sass and so much questions, and there's going to be so much nagging. And then when she gets older, she'll say, oh, you a fat dude, or you should go to the gym, or stop going to the gym, spend more time with me, you know, stuff like that, man. But how should you, let me see the question. What's the question again? See, I'm rambling, ladies and gentlemen. My 2 subscribers. How should a man raise their children and their environment, I guess? I mean, you gotta love your children, you know. Before the child, I loved myself. And of course, I love my significant other, for sure. She's an amazing woman. She's got my back in so many ways I couldn't even understand. And it's tough, you know, because there's certain things that I wish I could do better in circumstances. And it hurts her too. So that's always an issue. that I gotta work on. And it's something I can't help due to, the climate of today's day and age. But, we gotta get better. We gotta do better. And, I'm a man. I'm accountable for my actions. I'm accountable for things that aren't my actions. But I feel like there are things that, you just gotta keep going. You gotta keep grinding, right? So I just say you gotta love your children. You gotta raise your children. You gotta tell them that, oh my God, we've become our own parents. I get it. You can't let them go along with the get along. You know what I'm saying? Try to limit television time. Try to limit telephone time. Make sure that they have stand-up friends around them, not just a bunch of losers that are just losers. You gotta have the right base. You gotta have the right structure at home, and hopefully she or he or whomever has the right friends, and they have that form of legacy. That's of course stay away from drugs. Shit like that. I don't know how to answer that question. It's kind of weird. I don't know why I asked that. I wrote that down, but hold on. Let me go through everything. Like, how should a man? Okay, got that. How should a man? Okay. Wow. Okay. Top earning a man that earns. We talked about. Did we talk about the man that earns less? I think we talked about that. Oh my God. I gotta cross this off as I go. A traditional man. We spoke on that. How a man should raise their children. Okay. Yeah, we already spoke on that. Wow. Somehow, somewhere, I always get around like the 30-minute mark on what I want to speak about, even when I ramble. It's kind of crazy. I just picked a number. I'm like 30 minutes. So, yeah, like and follow. Make sure that you get the notifications. All 2 of you. Hopefully, I get like 2 more followers and a bunch of likes. But you know how it is. The politics, man. Nah, but like on some real stuff, guys. Listen, if you're a lady listening to this and you think all men are evil, you're not wrong in saying all men are evil. I just think that you have to specify what type of man, because I can't go out there and say all women are evil. Now, I could be right in certain men have evil characteristics. Certain women have evil characteristics, if that's what we want to use the word evil. I think there are good men and there are some bad men. And there are good men that do bad things. And there are some bad men that sometimes do good things in the guise of trying to manipulate women. I think that's how that works. And I think the same could be said about women, right? So don't give up on that. Don't give up on dudes. There's still some good guys out there. And I always say quality over quantity. It's all about the quality. You're not trying to get boyfriends by the bulk here. This isn't Costco. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a good look anyways. So don't be doing all that nonsense. And what is a man? Honest to God, like, that depends on what type of man you want. And fellas, if you listen to my podcast, God bless you. I'm not out here simping. I'm not out here being a cuck or any of that stuff. I'm just, this is what I wanted to talk about today. And if you guys don't agree with what I said, sound off in the comment section. Ladies, if you disagree with what I had to say, then sound off in the comment section, like or unlike, whatever. But just let me know how y'all feel about what I just said. All right, it's getting late. They're doing the construction. It's like 5. Oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. Okay, I gotta go, guys. I'm not uploading this until later because I gotta do this. I'm figuring out how the whole audio thing. So, yeah, my girl got me a microphone, and I just been looking at it this whole time, and I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to figure out the right app to use this thing first, and then use the microphone just to make it more polished. And by the way,